Hola, hola. My name is Riemann, cosmetic chemist, esthetician, lover of a good heavy-duty sunscreen. Today we're talking about a popular European brand if you love ultra, mega, high protection, and heavy-duty long wear. We're talking the new P20. Is it Riemann or Riemann P20 or just P20? I never know. The Riemann P20 Urban Shield. I was at a Boots in Greenwich in London in early January and saw this as a new launch. And this is the Urban Shield, which I hadn't heard of before. Their P50 Kids is like the one I've used before and actually really enjoy. But looking at the claims of this, Riemann P20 Urban Shield protects the face and neck from UV-induced skin damage and premature skin aging. All sunscreens do. The broad spectrum sunscreen also offers protection against pollution, shielding the skin from both smog and dust. The formula is fast absorbing, tested to be safe around the eyes, non-comedogenic, and suitable to wear under makeup. Features are triple protection technology that provides up to 10 hours of protection, twice the EU's required UVA protection, and is very water resistant. This is a 50-gram bottle, and this retails for £29 at Boots. I think I bought it on sale though, so I think I paid like half that price. And what really stood out to me is if you look on the box for the product, it says obviously 50 plus PA4 plus protection, which you rarely see the PA system in an EU sunscreen. Protects against photo aging, high-level UVA, antioxidants, dry touch formula, which for an oily, acne-prone skin individual, that's a big claim. So let's get into it. For my sunscreen reviews, because this is a chemical sunscreen, I do my 6 Fs. We talk about the feel, finish, filters, formulation, foundation wear, and fragrance. I'll have timestamps for those all down below, depending on what part you want to fast forward to. And for the application footage, I always apply the amount of sunscreen I need for my face size. If you want to know how much sunscreen you should be applying for your face size, I have a card up here. Getting into application, feel, and finish. You can see when I pump this out, it is like a lotion cream texture, gel cream texture. Very standard European sunscreen texture. And when I work it in, it is very easy to work in. It is glowy though. It is glowy on the skin. I will say, I pump it, I start spreading it, and I notice it does leave a white layer, and that is like very triggering for me, and I was very worried the first time I tried this out. It does melt in, but I'll get into the white thing in a little bit. But overall, it's easy to work in. It has a moisturizing cream to lotion texture. It looks glowy, and it is a more moisturizing texture on the skin. And even after I let it set for 15 minutes, and I've used this over skincare, I've used this on days where my skin's actually very compromised and very, very dry, and I need the extra moisture. It tends to have somewhat of an emollient feel on the skin, a glowy finish on the skin, and even on my hands. I always feel like a little bit of I think right now you can even see there might be a little bit of a sheen on my hand. It is somewhat emollient, so dry touch wear. So if you have oily skin, this is not going to be the matte sunscreen of your dreams. In terms of filters, again, this is a sunscreen that lasts for 10 hours, has SPF 50 plus, PA4 plus protection, and also, according to the box, has a 5-star Boots UVA star rating. So that's like exceptional. I will say this does actually specify having a UVA PF above 50. Specific amount, I don't see anywhere on here. But for filters, this uses Uvinol A+, Tenosorb S, Tenosorb A2B, and Uvinol T150. So that's our broad spectrum part. That Tenosorb A2B, I do not see a lot outside of very high protection EU sunscreens. I don't think a lot of Korean brands use that. Not approved in the US. And I'm not familiar with Australian brands. But I feel like Riemann is really one of the brands I've seen use that A2B filter a lot. The one caveat with that A2B filter is that it's an insoluble chemical filter. So it is basically a white powder suspended in the formula, which does increase a risk of a white cast. Again, because this is brand new, I have not seen anyone with deep skin try this to really make a statement, but I will say a slight chance of white cast does exist. It's going to be substantially less than what you'd get with a zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, for example, but that does exist there. The A2B filter, so while Tenosorb S is broad spectrum and Uvinol T150 covers UVB, Uvinol A+ covers UVA, that Tenosorb A2B boosts that UVB protection while also really increasing and filling the hole some UV filters leave in that UVA2 part of the spectrum. So it's nice to have that in there. I think it's really interesting it only has the 4 filters. So formulation points though, this is a very simple formula. It really is a moisturizing texture, first of all. It's alcohol, fragrance, and essential oil free, which is good to note. It has vitamin E in the form of tocopherol and tocopherol acetate. There is also ascorbyl palmitate in here, which is a vitamin C derivative you don't really see a lot. I don't think it's a lot of people's favorites, for example, but based off what I'm looking at the potential percentage of that in there, it might just be more so an antioxidant preservative for the formula itself as opposed to like a topical thing. And then glycerin and squalane. So very simple formula overall, not a lot of bells and whistles. It's interesting it has that claim about the antioxidant urban shield pollution because it's more so coming from probably the vitamin E, maybe a little bit of that ascorbyl palmitate, but also maybe the heavy duty film that is a part of the sunscreen formulation. Speaking of which, let's get into that long wear claim since we're talking about filters and formulation. 10 hours is a lot. In the EU, sunscreen long wearability is different than in the US. test. In the US, it's either your 40 minutes or 80 minutes. Here, they can make claims, I think, up to 4, 8, 10 hours clearly. And that's just based off what the brands themselves test. Riemann P20 and Avi Technology are the only two brands I really know that make those claims. But at least for Avi, I know the founder, Joan, can really back up that claim. They've done the testing at 8-hour wear showing, no, you still get SPF 50 protection. And I'm assuming with P20, same thing if they're able to make that claim. Again, very water resistant. They're also claiming that it's up to 10-hour wear. Those two claims don't overlap though necessarily, because you can wear this as is, just have a regular work day, school day, whatever, and get that 10-hour wear. Whereas very water resistant, I believe only clears you up to 4 hours if you expose the sunscreen to water and sweat without toweling it off. Does that make sense? If that doesn't make sense, sound off in the comments. Then in terms of eye sting, because you guys always do ask, this does say safe around the eyes, ophthalmologist tested. But what I will say is, because it's a little bit emollient, it is a little bit of a heavy duty wear formula, don't go crazy around the eyes because this is getting to my eye. It didn't so much sting as it was the fact that I had like an oily film in my eye. So just note that. But in terms of the filters as well, unless you're like hyper sensitive to chemical filters, it doesn't have the avobenzone that a lot of people associate with eye sting, so you should be okay. And then foundation wear. This preps the skin beautifully for foundation. I didn't have an issue with that. I will say though, because it is a little bit more emollient and glowy, my makeup did tend to get a little bit more glowy faster, but I do love a moisturizing skincare base underneath a matte foundation. I don't got issue with that. I will always have to blot and powder, so. But I will say, according to their claims as well, they really do specify, this is great under makeup, just make sure you let it set. So one thing about P20 is their brand education for their sunscreens and how to adequately use it and ensure good sun protection is actually excellent. They explain here the difference between UVB, UVA rays, the importance of applying enough. They actually do say, to get adequate protection, apply, I think they say 2 pumps worth of products to get half of a teaspoon. And they say wearing less isn't gonna give you enough protection. Yeah, they specifically state wait at least 15 minutes, then apply your makeup. And then fragrance. This is fragrance free, but it actually has, it's a very interesting scent. It's raw material based. It doesn't smell like conventional sunscreens, but it doesn't have a perfumey scent either. It just smells like a moisturizer actually. And then that dissipates fairly quickly. So there's no fragrance, no essential oils, and the actual scent of the sunscreen itself is subtle to non-existent, just raw material. So overall, great option for sensitive skin as well, unless you're like ultra sensitive. But final thoughts for the Riemann P20 Urban Shield. Theoretically, as a concept, as an abstract concept, this is a great sunscreen, especially if you love long wear, heavy duty. Again, SPF 50 plus, PA 4 plus, UVA PF above 50, 5-star Boots UVA rating, 10-hour wear, very water resistant, and you have some antioxidant benefits as well. So theoretically, from the marketing, it's a great option. What just throws me off is the dry touch claim when this is not dry touch at all. And again, I basically melted off my face a few weeks ago on top of going to New York in the middle of winter. My skin was literally peeling one morning. It was so dry. This still had me glowy. It still had me like radiant, and it still felt a little bit emollient on my skin. So it's one of those things where it's like, why would you say dry touch? It's not dry touch. But every other claim on this box, I will confirm, is really good. And this is also 30 pounds for 50 grams. And there's a small likelihood of a white cast on deep skin. Again, if I see a deep skin review at any point between now and the video going live, I'll link it down below, so always check. I'm hoping my girl Tamino Abby might have something up very soon. But it's one of those where theoretically it's great, but there's certain things that are just like, it's not dry touch. It's kind of expensive. Small likelihood for white cast. So I can't necessarily say like this is gonna be a banger. But if you are fair skin, if ultra high long wear sun protection is a big importance to you, and you don't mind a little glow, this might be a hit. Also, if it's in your budget, this might be a hit. Overall, I give this a B+ to kind of an A-. It's just not gonna be for oily skin. I think, again, P20 Riemann, they formulate the hell out of sunscreen. I think that's a Scandinavian brand, and Scandinavian brands always, they do the most for sunscreen formulations. So overall, this isn't a bad product. I would love to see them do something that really does cater to oily, acne-prone skin and more of a natural to matte finish formula, because this is not dry touch to any degree. Again, my hand is glistening right now. But let me know down below in the comment section, have you gotten the chance to try this already? What are your thoughts on it? Are they different from mine? Sound off. Also, does P20 Riemann have an oily skin-friendly formula? Let me know. Also, let me know what new sunscreen launches you've been loving that you'd love me to review on my channel. I just got really lucky on a random Boots visit in London and saw like 4 new sunscreen launches, so I quickly grabbed those. But is there anything else that I should review? Let me know. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you know when I post more skincare, sunscreen, and beauty related content on my channel. Give the video a thumbs up, and thanks for watching, guys. Bye.